Hi, everybody. One of the things that I miss about our member meetings in person is that we can then chat with the fellows afterwards over coffee or in the gatherings when we chat after the entrepreneurs are gone and we're hanging out a bit. And we have some great fellows. You probably have met some of them if you've worked on some due diligence. They really do the heavy lifting on analyzing our technology. So we are grateful for them and we rely on them. So today I'm going to introduce you to Ted and Grishma. Ted is at the University of Washington and Grishma is at Washington State. So I would like you each to introduce yourselves and just give a quick description of your area of study and then explain how you've used your expertise in your E8 fellowship with one example. So Ted, would you go first?
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you so much for that introduction. I am a fifth year PhD student at this point in the molecular engineering program at the University of Washington. And my area of focus is it's an interesting story. It's been shifting around from time to time, but broadly I'd say it's looking at all types of perovskite nanocrystal technologies. We kind of started out looking at these solar energy collection devices called luminescent solar concentrators, and are now looking at like printing and processing type technologies. I'm actually in the lab right now. Let's see, I don't know if I can flip the screen, but this is kind of what the world looks like from the PhD side. I'm in the optics table lab right now. I'm doing some experiments. And I really have enjoyed this E8 experience. It's been really useful to kind of see where the where the ideas that I think about all the time in my studies kind of actually translate to the real world. And specifically because I've been working on kind of solar energy devices, I really had a chance to leverage my expertise on a due diligence team where we were assessing Edgehog and their solar technologies. And that really was kind of a direct application of the knowledge that I have learned and developed from the studies I've done and the papers I've written over the years. So, so that was a pretty cool experience. Really appreciated working with you all.
Super. Thanks, Ted. Nice to meet you. Okay, Grishma, over at Washington State, would you please introduce yourself and explain how you've used your expertise in your E8 fellowship?
Yeah, so I'm Grishma. I'm a third year PhD student here at Washington State University in the Department of Economic Sciences. Though my background is in engineering also. I did my undergrad in mechanical and my master's in energy engineering from Germany. Currently, my field of study, what I'm working on is in a project where we are trying to combine our econometric models with machine learning algorithms, where now we will be able to reveal and decode different electricity consumption patterns of a household. For example, from the machine learning algorithm, you'll be able to figure out whether the consumer is heating his house, cooling, whether he's away or whether he's sleeping, for example. And we wanted that information because we wanted to estimate consumers' willingness to pay at different times of the day, which would then translate into developing meaningful contracts, bilateral contracts between utility and the consumers. So that's what is keeping me busy. And we recently cross-validated our model, which is working very well. Yeah, in terms of E8, yeah, it's been very enriching experience because I want to work in the energy sector itself and to see what else is going on in the industry is it's very positive. Also, you learn so much more, and during the due diligence process, when experts are giving their feedbacks, also makes me sort of understand or learn how people think in a critical way. And in terms of using my expertise, I would say I remember being a part of in a due diligence team in a company where they were working on heat exchanger technology. So since I had a background in mechanical engineering, I was able to do an overview of their technology and also look into if there is any red flags in what they were planning to do. So yeah, all in all, it has been a very, very good experience working with E8.
Super, thank you very much. You can, so you see everybody, we've got some very smart fellows helping us out on our due diligence. So there's some things that we have them look at that no one else on our team understands. So Ted and Grishma, Ted, go first. What have you learned in your E8 fellowship that surprised you?
Man, there's been a number of things. I have to say that one of the kind of striking things I realized from this fellowship was just really how important some of the background knowledge that I've gotten in my PhD and my undergraduate actually is for thinking about these technologies and what it really takes to get these things to market. And it's not really feedback that I think I would have got if I were just to go through my PhD without doing this fellowship. So I really appreciate that. And then specifically, and then there really are just so many other things that you need to think about when you're trying to get a new technology out to market. Like I really mostly spend my time thinking about the technology. That's kind of the nature of a PhD program. But there's so much in terms of what like the market for the technology looks like, who the customers are, how you're actually going to access the customers, and what that kind of development cycle is going to look like that you really don't get to see when you're just in the lab all the time doing research. So that's been something I've really enjoyed and appreciated from my E8 experience.
Okay, thanks, Ted. How about you, Grishma? Any surprises?
I actually agree with that you understand so much more. It's not just about the technology only. When we are working in academic world, we focus more on the technology, but with E8, you see what other things that are also how you're going to bring that technology to the market and what people are asking, things like that. And one of the things I would say surprising was when I did a review of a electric vehicle charger company. I did not know the extent to which the electric vehicle chargers are already there. So I knew that the electric vehicles are coming to the market, but I didn't know the extent. So when I was doing the competitive analysis on that, I was very surprised to the extent that's already, in the market. So that I would say is very surprising.